Hey, nice girl bike!
Oh yeah, I still can't play any songs.
The Schwinn CrissCross is a hybrid bike produced sometime in the 90s and early 2000s. Bicycles don't nearly have the prestige of cars, so exact information like model years and sales numbers isn't easily accessible. A hybrid bike is essentially a road bike that has slightly fatter, treaded tires for light off-roading. And I say light because this bike has no suspension. This model also comes with front and rear cantilever brakes, 700C by 38 tires, cartridge bearings on the wheels, front non-index thumb shifter and rear index thumb shifter, Sun Tour derailleurs, wheel stem, threaded headset, square tape cranks, threaded bottom bracket, quick disconnect axles, and a kickstand that I think is factory but doesn't look like it because it's unceremoniously clamped to the frame and scraping off the paint with each jiggle. The frame says, USA design, which means it was probably made in China, but the headset was made in Japan and the wheels were made in the USA. How does it ride? As expected, these skinnier, higher pressure tires provide less rolling resistance than the XR75, and you could probably chalk that up to higher quality components all around, since this bike costs significantly more than the XR, and the XR's cup and cone bearings were over-tightened from the factory. Usually, a step-through frame indicates a women's model, and this was owned by a woman. But is this really a woman's bike? Typically, women's products are associated with comfort, status, and frivolous cosmetics at the expense of performance, utility, and value. But the only difference here is the frame. Even the same paint job can be found on the regular framed models, and the only compromise you're making on the step-through frame is sacrificing some frame strength for ease of use. But going off-road is going to be a lot tougher than a proper mountain bike because the CrissCross has no suspension and skinny tires. And it's for that reason that the original owner stopped riding this bike, because out in the sticks, there are no bike lanes and too much traffic on the roads, so a dirt and gravel shoulder is your only option. Even though this is a woman's bike, it's not at all more feminine than the men's model, and is less comfortable off-road than a men's mountain bike. On the objective side, a traditional woman's bike typically has a chain guard and fenders to keep dresses from getting tangled in them, and a step-through frame so you don't have to upskirt yourself in public to get on the saddle. It does have a step-through frame, but it doesn't have fenders or a chain guard. And the whole reason step-through frames are for women is invalid nowadays because most women, at least in the first world, wear pants now. If anything, I would consider the step-through frame to be better for men nowadays because it's a lot harder to crush your nuts on a step-through frame if you fall forward, and it doesn't require as much flexibility to mount. This is not a woman's bike. This is the kilt of bicycles. A bike for ultra chads! Step-through frames aren't for women in skirts and dresses anymore. They're an ergonomic place to put your massive dick!